see what discoveries we can find. And so far, it's been pretty great. Nice rocky habitat, sponges, corals. Seems to be to see that indicates it's healthy.
Salty when you get further up towards the top of the canyon. You definitely weren't seeing as many large sponges and corals.
Argus, are you happy with your position relative to the cliff? Do you want to be any closer?
I think it's not bad. Having it'd be really sweet to have a depth history on here for the vehicle.
Bridge nav, another step, same bearing. Sorry, a little behind on that one.
Lovely orange star out in this kind of sandy zone. That's a great shot, thank you. Kurt on shore is saying it might be a hipposteria star.
Oh, okay. It's not too bad. What's that? Bridge nav, another step, same bearing. I can jump it ahead. Is that okay? It is coming in more up this way. I can jump it ahead a bit if you want. Okay. All right, reset. And now. Okay.
Okay, barrier on the top of the image there.
Yep, right next to that lovely feather star.
The sponge here?
Looks like we might be getting. Yep, that's sponge is that white frilly bit just under the laser.
Yep. Al, you want to zoom in on that, please?
Looks like a corsage.
All right. Go ahead and come on wide there, Al, please.
Thanks. They're one of the species that you find in mud sponge reefs.
Did somebody want to sample that sponge?
We've been seeing, for Liz, we've been seeing small patches of this, but they've all been quite small. I think if we find a slightly larger one, we'll suction sample it, but we'll wait till we find one that's a little bigger than that one.
Okay, thank you. Bridge, another step, same bearing. Thank you.
Fish we just passed was a long spine thorny head, and we can finally tell that because it had its spines up. You're
Nice.
looking to see one spine kind of in the middle that's longer than the others.
That's fish.
Yeah. A deep sea soul there.
The most recognisable of the practices, beautiful patterns. Are these little eel pelts on the bottom as well?
Yep, those are little eel pouts.
Another very small barrier.
There's a crab there, looks like.
Mm-hmm.
There's some marine debris there. Are we still marking those? Science? I don't know.
Is that, were you referring to, oh, the bottle?
Yeah. Do a partial zoom there, Al. Bridge, another step, same bearing. All right, go and come pull away, please.
Right after the shift change, we started in a very expensive rocky habitat that was full of corals, and we've now kind of moved along the slope and gotten into an area that's much more patchy once again, which is more of the fragmentary rocks and sandy sediment. Hopefully we'll get back into some more rocks soon.
Okay, science. We're at a point where we could do another transect if you like. Do you want to talk us through how we'll be acting differently for this?
Sure. So for a transect, we're going to want to fly at a steady speed, and we want to cover roughly 150 to 200 meters. Double check my transect note here. Give me a second. Yeah, so between 150 to 200 meters in about 15 minutes. And because we're on the steep slope and moving slower, so let's just target about 200 meters for the transect. And we want to stay a steady height above the sea floor and kind of keep the camera straight on and not kind of wander back and forth.
Sure thing. Okay, let me just put in some targets to aim for, then we'll get going.
And we want to keep the lasers on, and we won't zoom either.
Yeah, widest field of view on the camera.
So you want a fixed heading for this as well?
Yeah, fixed heading.
Sure thing. Just want to have a good feel for 200 meters. So give me 1 second. No worries. Looks like Argus is still swinging over me. I'm just going to position myself in front of Argus a bit more. Okay. Otherwise, I'll just be behind because I'm a bit too far off to the west. That's fine. Let me know when you're happy. Ah.
So this will be transect number
All right.
3.
I'm happy here. Well, can you repeat the transect number?
Transect number 3.
Transect 3? Okay.
Yep.
You feeling good? Yeah, so we're going to be going, it's going to be kind of slightly constant in changes, but we're going to be starting kind of at, let's say 0, 015 to 020. Okay. And I'm going to keep tweaking it based on Argus, and I'll just let you know as I'm doing it. Sound good? Sure thing. All right. Okay, so we're ready to start this right here? Yeah. Okay.
So science, it's okay. So you want me to face the slope here, kind of lateral along during this transect and maintain a constant heading and a constant speed?
Yep, that sounds perfect.
Great.
Give me a minute. IPAC's being a bit cranky. We're gonna start about 015, maybe bring it to 020 if that feels too tight. And that should take us through this part of the curve and see how it goes from there. Is that okay? Okay. Okay. All right, ready and go. If you guys are. All right, bridge nav. Can I have a 10-meter step bearing 015? I'm gonna focus on keeping them coming in regularly, so if I lose attention on something, please bring me back.
And can we just make sure that a target gets dropped at the start and finish?
Sure. So we got, I can move that one up a bit if you like.
We're doing a quantitative transect right now. This is a method we use to quantify our observations of the seafloor, and that allows us to compare between areas. And so we have the lasers on, and a team, after the dive is over, will be analyzing the video, counting all of the invertebrates and fish that they see during the course of the transect. We're just waiting for the ship to get situated here.
I can see that Eric has got the start and stop times and a few comments on the substrate and the dive data recovery report. So I'm just going to follow on and keep doing what she was doing on the previous shift.
Perfect.
So is there a threshold science for speeds again? Could you reiterate?
So our target usually is to cover about 200 meters in about 20 minutes. But we realize that working in steep canyons, that can often be slower. But yeah, that's our usual target, is to cover about 200 meters in 20 minutes.
All right, copy.
Pretty speedy. Yeah.
The dive notes have got a range here of 0.25 to 0.5 knots.
Yeah.
And if that's a little fast for this
Yeah.
terrain, we just would rather make sure that it's a steady speed over about 150 to 200 meters, as long as the speed is steady and we cover about the same distance.
Yeah, sure thing. Yeah, I think we'll probably just put it to about we'll start off maybe a little bit slow, but yeah, we'll try to get this sussed out in a moment here.
Okay.
So I've gone back to 000 just based on what I'm seeing in Argus right now. It gets tight, we'll bring it back out a little bit.
Lucky Tom is going to get all the mud on his transects, but so far only because of luck of the draw.
Yeah, it looks like 1 and 2 were mostly muddy from the notes. It'll be easy counting.
Yep.
Come down on the winch a bit.
Bridge nav, another step, same bearing.
Okay, and to the extent possible, we like to stay a constant height above the seafloor.
Sure thing.
They do try to do, guys. Thanks. We've got an amphiptylum P10 there.
So in order to maintain
Is this the start?
What?
Yes.
Sorry, have we started?
Yes, we started.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there a preference in altitude from the seafloor?
We usually try to think it's about 1 meter-ish. They like to be close enough that they can see clearly what the animals are.
All right, and since we're at a slope and kind of the way we can tell altitude is from the back of the ROV, we'll kind of guesstimate it. So is this the amount of lighting that you expect?
Yeah, that looks good.
One last follow-up question. As in order to maintain the same heading, it's okay if we also do steps forward in addition to lateral steps?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, great.
Again, they've got between 1 and 3 meters in the notes. So if we need to come up a bit, that's okay too.
Okay, great.
Basically, whatever works depending on, habitat complexity and obstacles.
Sure thing. Yeah, the altimeter or the auto altitude is making me float high again. Oh.
That's grenadier there. And a couple of it.
Grenadier.
Oh, it looks like Tom's going to get some rocks after all. At least the small one.
So we really try and avoid interrupting the transect, but Tom has said if we see something that is rare and a high priority on the collection list, he's all right with us pausing a transect to take a collection if that happens. It does. I don't expect that will happen on this one though.
Argus, that was a shift to 010, FYI.
Roger that. Thank you.
We get our little bubblegum coral right in the bottom corner of the I'll get to count.
Thorny heads.
Yep, I think so far most of the ones we've seen have been long spine thorny heads, although you really can't tell unless they put that fin up. They've got a whole row of dorsal spines, and in the long spines, one of them, I think it's the third or fifth, is taller than the others. And that's the distinguishing long spine on the long spine thorny head. Got one of those barrel sponges just went under the lasers. Out by itself in this sandy.
Yeah, little glass sponge. I'm really glad we were able to sample that. It's great to be able to use Herc's sampling capacity to help confirm the IDs of some of the things that we're seeing on this transect. So a little eel pout there.
They're grenadier.
We call them rat tails in New Zealand. I don't know if that's a nickname here as well.
I think it is. Another little one. That might be an eel pout. Oh, poor Tom, he's getting all the mud.
Oh.
Oh, I spoke too soon. Little coral there. That looks like a Parastanella, perhaps.
There's a glass sponge on the top of the screen.
little rocks with some corals and glass sponges, I think, are a good indication that we're going to get into some more thick rocky habitats at some point here. Nice deep sea sole. They're definitely the most charismatic of flatfishes.
Good color.
I'd say so.
And because we use similar kind of ROV flight patterns for all of these transects that we'll be doing coast-wide throughout the season, it allows us to compare between sites. And that allows us to characterize each site individually and then see how the habitats and species composition change in a fairly quantitative way over the coast. We have colleagues at NOAA Southwest Fisheries Science Center that have some methods for watching the video and basically counting everything they see that's over 10 centimeters, and that's all the invertebrates and all of the fish. And then they also make notes about the habitat substrate. So like this would be a sandy, muddy bottom that they see as well. So it's wonderful to be able to partner with Nautilus to do this work because the ROVs and pilots are so capable and allow us to work at these deep habitats and canyons and such. We got a deep muddy face here. Looks like there's a little bit of faria up in the upper right-hand corner.
Mm-hmm. It's also really great to be able to get some fisheries-independent data to get an idea of abundance and biomass of commercial species.
Mm-hmm.
NOAA uses a trawl survey method, but obviously some habitats, particularly ones with kind of rocks and outcrops, not accessible for trawl surveying, but using vehicles like Herc, we can get these visual surveys going in those untrawlable habitats. And that's extremely valuable. Even though we're only able to get... Oh, sorry, Meredith.
Oh, go ahead.
Chatting over you.
The perils of broadcasting from home instead of being together on the ship, but it's a wonderful opportunity.
Yes.
A little coral there, and a nice rescinded star just went across the bottom. Looks like we are getting more rocks now. That's a nice big face there. We've got coral in the center of the screen. Look at the twig and off to the right. Possibly, sorry, Gorgonian. See another pass. We continue to move. So in the shallow water, that would be called a sea fan. Although you can see here in the deep, it's got a very simple morphology. It is very distantly related to sea fans you might see snorkeling. Field of these white anemones.
I'm surprised we're not seeing more sponges on this ledge. That's the right box. Oh, no.
Looks like a little chunk of faria right there.
Yeah. I mean, they have all been small chunks or patches.
We're definitely getting back into some rocks here. Oh, and we've got a nice coral. This one off to the bottom of the screen. Oh, and there looks like there is a large fish, one of those sculpins,
Oh, sculpin.
right in this blob sculpin right in the center of the screen.
Mm.
They are quite cute. Oh, and a snailfish.
Oh, what? Both in all the same image.
Made a visit just for the transect.
Well, 400 species of snailfish worldwide, but there's still thought to be quite a few undescribed species.
Mm-hmm.
Might have been a black-tailed snailfish.
I was thinking the same. I didn't get a clear look kind of at the front to see the color transition,
Yeah.
but that's the species that we know we have out here.
Yeah.
What viewers at home can't see is in the background, even though we do a fair amount of this watching, ROV dives will often be frantically flipping through our various ID guides that we have spread out on the table in front of us.
Oh, wow.
That's one thing I'm finding difficult working, doing this from shore, is I don't have access to some of those guides that we would have on the ship.
Mm-hmm. Another grenadier. And Erica, who's a walking, talking fish ID guide, which she was on the last shift, has gone to catch some sleep before she'll rejoin later in the day.
Yeah, grenadiers are another group with a lot of species.
We're back out into the mud. You can see in the kind of deep canyons here that you can have a very steep wall that is still yet very muddy, and the mud can be quite thick and sticky. There's a nice eel out there on the bottom. And then you can have these fantastic patches of rocks that are just covered in everything, acting as little islands of habitat for things like corals and sponges to grow on. Out in these muddy areas is where you'll get the sea pens, which are actually an octocoral group. And the red ones we saw a few minutes ago, the Amphiptilum, are actually one of the species that's bioluminescent and can flash a bright blue.
Oh, wow.
We have a scientist from shore, Liz Clark, chiming in to say that the blob sculpin that we saw actually can feed on sea pens. I didn't know. Thanks, Liz.
Same as the corals, most sponges will attach themselves to hard substrates, but you do get a few that are adapted to the soft sediment, and they'll get these long anchoring spicules that help them attach to those muddy sediments.
Those are the fiber optic sponges they get called because they're long.
That is a great example. Yeah.
You might get to see some as the Nautilus season moves down the coast. You get them down in California, and they'll be diving Channel Islands, areas we've seen them before. And they look like these big, crazy underwater tulips. In a few days here, we'll be diving in a deep sea soul. A little eel pout there hanging in the water. Every time I'm watching an ROV dive, I'm always wondering what's just outside of the light pool.
Got some more skins.
Oh, we do. We have, let's say, what, 14 more hours of diving? Don't want to burn them all right at the beginning.
Oh yeah.
No, I think you picked a good spot for the first one.
Yeah, we still have 5 skins.
Yeah, that's always the tricky thing with it. Oh, nice. Good spot. Arms out, wondering what we're doing, but not running away.
Anemones cling to the pebbles.
Another grenadier. And a few of them hanging on this very steep face here.
There's black corals. Oh no, feather star.
Feather star, yep.
Yeah. Tricked.
Kind of like when you get in some rocky areas and you've got the little ophiuroids who put their arms out from under the rocks. And as a coral biologist, I'm always looking for new like sea fans and sea stars. And so you'll see the little red twig. And is it a coral? No, it's just another little star.
A little bony head.
Crab.
Got a tanner crab? Might be a tanner crab.
Very long starfish.
It looks like we have a crab molt that just went off the top of the screen. Really big grenadier. More stars. I like that little Solus cucumber has just a little white frilly guy who's just on the left of the screen.
Yeah.
Apparently found a small pebble or something to attach to. They're sessile sea cucumbers. They glue themselves down to harder substrate and don't move about much.
Some sponge on that border.
Is that a Poecilastra? Maybe?
Maybe. I didn't see the dark fringe on that one. They tend to end up getting sediment stuck in these spicules, long spicules around the edge. It gives them a dark fringe.
There's one of our little fuzzy barrel friends. That kind of barrel-shaped sponge with the kind of brown fringe on the outside often just gets grouped into one group that is, I think, the Rhabdocalyptus, the star eucalyptus. I can never remember which. But it turns out that they can be quite much more diverse, and that's one of the reasons we need to sample them, is that there are
science,
many more members of
as
that group.
as the slope kind of tapers off, and now we're not really facing the strike, can I change my heading around? Am I free to do that in order to
go
get
ahead
back
and
on
adjust
track?
your heading.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Great. Could be a little bit of a car wash here. You want to stand by one? Did you, yeah, stand by 1 quick second. I'll reacquire. Made myself a dust cloud here.
Yeah.
Look at those wheelies we just made. All right. I'll go back down.
Yeah, when they do the analysis, when they get the kind of dust cloud or heading change, they'll basically just pause their count, advance the video, note how long it advanced, and then pick up and kind of make up for it on the other side.
Sure thing. One second. All right. That's where we started our sleigh ride. All right. All right. Sorry. I think so, yeah. All right, I'm gonna maintain this heading here, facing into the slope.
Okay.
So I'll step starboard now.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Sorry. I guess we have 1,000 meters between us, so if you want to go ahead and dial one in, I'm heading your way now. Sure thing.
How much distance have we come so far on that transact?
Did you copy? And they're asking how far we've gone so far on that transect.
Sorry about that, guys. I was SPLF. We've been 170 meters on that transit.
Okay, good stuff. It's been about half an hour, Meredith.
Since we've only got 30 meters left to go to get 200, let's just go ahead and finish the 30 meters, and then we'll go back and take more of an explorer mode.
Interesting. Sorry.
It's just a pretty hairy transect.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. No, that's why we operating on these
My
steep
autos aren't
slopes, we know
responding.
that they take longer.
Sorry,
So
you
we'll just try to
wanna
get the distance.
hold the ship moves? I'm not getting any response topside.
Signs we're just having an issue up front.
You wanna move the ship back?
Yep, just let us know when you're
Yeah, we
settled.
got topside crash here. You wanna move the ship back so I don't.
10 meters 270.
Yeah, pretty much the opposite way. Yeah,
Bridge nav 10 meter step 270.
maybe make it a 20.
I think
Yeah,
that's
we're
end of
gonna reset
transect, guys.
topside.
Sorry.
Oh, yep, that's just fine. We'll mark that as transect end.
Okay.
Got it.
And then whenever you're all settled and adjusted and reset, you can go back into explore mode.
Oh, yeah, we got it back. You're right, that is snappy. We got topside back.
Okay, great. Let's get situated since we're at the end of transect. We can actually think about it.
Yeah, sounds good. Sorry about that, guys.
Oh, no worries. The terrain just got really exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, we just kind of lost our topside momentarily. Yeah. Good question.
We've got another nice bubblegum coil there.
Where's the rest of your interface? Yeah. We want to. I'm gonna find a place to park real quick, and then we can kind of figure out what's going on with the GUI. Science, we're just having a quick moment here to sort out a few things topside. So
Yep.
stand by one.
Meredith, do we need to keep this channel quiet whilst they're having their discussion?
Sorry, we just had to track down our topside interface.
Yeah.
All right, sorry about that.
Oh, now we're gonna breathe, and then we're gonna figure out where we're going next.
Yeah. Would you mind coming up a little bit there, Kim?
Yeah, no,
Thank you.
no kidding.
The most important thing is making sure that the ROVs are safe, because that's what allows us to do any of this.
And investigating whatever that white blob is at the top of the screen.
If you like something here, that's perfect. That gives us a chance to calm down a little bit.
Okay, fab. Well, there's something coming up.
That white, it's like a sponge.
Oh, yeah. Like a stock sponge.
Oh, it is a stalk sponge.
It is.
Go ahead and push on in there a bit, Al. So sorry, so that was the end of the transect. Was that a bit premature for you guys?
No, at 170, that's fine. The goal is always anywhere from 150 to 250, just depending on how, what the terrain is like. So that 170 will work just fine.
Okay. Go ahead and come wide, Al, sorry. So what's next on your guys' objective? Is there you need a Niskin fire at the end of the transects? I can't remember.
I think I'm going to wait till we do the next transect to do that, just so the Niskins are a little more spaced out through the dive.
Sure.
But we can go back into kind of just an exploring mode now, continuing to move up towards that next waypoint along the slope. And if we see some stuff, we'll request samples if we see some stuff we would like to sample along the way, and just kind of you know, fly more casually and do a little more exploring. And we'll try to get 150 or so meters before we do the next transect.
Sure thing.
Meredith, if we see more of those stalk sponges, I would be keen to get a snip. If there are more than, you know, just the one.
Yep.
All right, so where's the next waypoint going to?
This is the next waypoint, and we're gonna follow that along. So 090, sound good?
Sounds good to me.
Sound good to you? All right, let's have a more relaxed go. Bridge nav. We get 10-meter step bearing 090.
So what time did that fall on its face?
Sorry. Seems like a while ago.
I can check the end transect time because that will. that's
Okay.
about when that went down.
I would say probably around like 25-ish.
1227. Oh, close.
Another nice bubblegum coral.
Yeah, no licensing glass sponge, the long guard spicules.
Just hanging on there, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yep, getting ready to drop off.
No,
You gonna push in?
off
Oh,
he
never mind.
goes.
There he goes. Oh. Gonna go join his friend at the little glass sponge down there. Oh.
Nice catch.
Nice catch.
Done feeding up there now.
Bridge nav, another step, same bearing.
We've got the Peristanella there on the right. A species of, we call it primnoid coral. They have these
You can do a quick zoom there. Al.
calcareous protector polyps. And will very often be covered in ophiuroids.
All right, go ahead and come
This
wide
group
there, Al.
often gets mistaken for black corals a lot because they do have a black skeleton, but they are an octocoral and not a black coral. Sponge there.
Yep, another Poeciloastra, tending on Laris.
Bridge nav, another step, same bearing.
And Abby, I can't spell Poeciloastra, so if you could type that into the comment box for our data logger.
Oh yes, I'd appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
We've got another bubble gum. What's fun of these kind of further north latitudes with some of these species is that there are some fjords in Canada where these will come up to shallow enough depths where different species than this one, but where you can get to them on scuba, which is kind of cool to see. It's just because the water is so cold and so nutrient rich.
Wow. Cool.
I like how the base of that one is just like crawling out over the rock. Can you zoom in on that next coral over? I just want to see if it's what it's looking like. It looks like it's covered in zoanthids. Up and left of the lasers. So that's a skeleton of a coral, and those orange polyps growing all over it are another member of the anthozoan family. There are zoanthids that have taken advantage of the skeleton and overgrown it. You can see just a little bit of living coral tissue left right behind near those white crab legs that are coming down. Thanks. That was a great zoom.
Sponge. The base. It's another poem.
Nice feather star there, just under the lasers. Those are one of my favorite things to see, and I love watching when they take off and go for a swim.